MrBeast constantly reveals his biggest secrets behind his success.
I will literally come on here and tell you guys every little thing I know about getting views on YouTube.
I managed to sort out his most valuable advice that you probably never heard of. These things helped him a lot throughout his YouTube journey, and it can help you too.
And I know tens of thousands of creators have watched those, and literally that's the reason why they're making $10,000+ a month.
This is the most important part of making a great YouTube video. But which one of these comes first?
Well, usually the idea. Hey, here's 10 ideas that I think are really phenomenal, people would love to watch. And then just like, which one do we think we can actually make a good title and thumbnail for?
MrBeast says an idea must follow 3 simple qualities. The idea must be good, original, and be interesting to the people watching. Oh, and
I think my face can pull some views.
should you research a video idea before starting to work on it?
It's kind of weird because if you asked me 3 years ago, I would have been like, well, I'd search it on YouTube and look and see if that concept performs a bunch and things like that. But at the end of the day, if it's like an actual great idea that hasn't been done before, usually people will show up and watch it.
I disagree. Well, kind of. Because I do believe it's different for smaller YouTubers. As a small YouTuber, you can get an advantage over the others if you know how to properly use SEO and research the video idea beforehand. The opposite is also true. If we have a great video idea that we think will do well, regardless of data, we should just do it. Now, the big question. How do we come up with better video ideas? MrBeast figured out something crucial. Before, he didn't really do anything else but work on videos, sleep, and repeat. And he knew he had to change.
I called it nightmare mode.
He realized he was missing something that all of us should understand, which is that creativity comes from the outside.
It did kind of hit me that being a little more well-rounded equals a better personality, which will make me funnier in videos. It changes you so much more.
MrBeast is an entertainer. He needs these external skills because he has to be funny and charismatic in his videos. Someone who can obsess so hard in creating the best videos possible knows he has to self-develop to improve and get better in other aspects other than content creation. Related to this is something even more important, and I think we all know this but lack it or underestimate it. And MrBeast knows this more than any other creator.
And that's how you stay on top. I gotta always be learning from everyone.
Talking to other creators is super important because it helps us grow faster and it helps us draw inspiration from them. For literally everything, from ideas to thumbnails. Do you remember what I mentioned 1 minute before?
You can draw inspiration from anywhere.
To know if a thumbnail is good or bad, you must sketch it out first to see if what you have is usable or not.
Because you have an image in your head, and sometimes when you make it a real thumbnail, it just doesn't look good at all.
So let's say you have an idea but cannot come up with a thumbnail. Do you just give up the idea even if it's great? Yes.
Oh, what was one of them? Genius versus 100 people, or what the heck is the thumbnail, even if the title is good?
No matter how great the idea is, if it cannot be visualized, you shouldn't make it. But where does MrBeast get the thumbnail inspiration from?
One of my thumbnail guys, Chucky, watched Severance, and one of the opening shots is that image in the top middle. He's like, we should do this for a thumbnail. And I was like, what does that even mean? And he sent me that Snapchat with a circle and a human. And somehow that led to this thumbnail we ended up doing here in the bottom right.
Next, MrBeast tells us why making thumbnails shouldn't be as hard as it is.
I'm a big fan of simplicity. One big Lamborghini in the middle, so much better than a driveway covered in Lamborghinis. Yeah.
You're broke!
Jokes aside, if you take anything away from this video, it's keep it simple. Remember, we have to make clickable thumbnails. For that, they must be easy to process.
I like to make it where your brain could be off and you understand what the video is.
But why should thumbnails be easy to process? It's because a lot of people scroll mindlessly. Another reason is that on mobile things are much smaller, so that's why the characters and objects should be big and visible.
YouTube has this new A/B testing beta where you can A/B test thumbnails. And so we went through all of my videos and closed my mouth, and every single thumbnail, my closed mouth performs way better than my open mouth.
But what's the reason for that? I'll dive deeper into this later in the video when I'll talk about authenticity. But to check if you have ABC testing activated on your channel, go to your thumbnail settings and click on the 3 dots. If test and compare is available, then you're good to go.
Here's another example. We started off with that horror flying thumbnail, but weirdly enough, the one we're landing on now, that one just consistently people are clicking on way more.
He actually used this ABC testing for his newest video. But why was this better than the other two? It has all the things I mentioned earlier. It's the simplest, it's the easiest to process, and the elements are big and clear. I personally saw thumbnail C in my recommended, but it took me like 5 seconds to process what's going on in the image. What does MrBeast think of shorts?
I mean, it's a no-brainer. You should be doing it.
Shorts, you can just be purely content-based. You just gotta hook them in the first 3 seconds and then just make a banger video.
MrBeast recently confirmed that the myth is actually true.
You know, that was a huge breakthrough. It's like people want to just see a more natural me. And like, you know, I don't have to like scream constantly to hold people's attention.
You may have seen new faces on YouTube like Sam Solek. He pretty much just records himself going grocery shopping, working out, and eating cereal. But MrBeast is different. He has another tactic that keeps the viewer engaged without actually vlogging fast transitions and constant screaming.
People say they want better stories. Let's do it.
So what makes a good story? A good story must induce curiosity. There are 4 ways to do that. Number 1, ask a question or present a puzzle. Show a sequence of events with anticipated but unknown resolution. Destroy the viewer's expectation to make them search for an explanation. Have someone else possess information that no one else has. So let's analyze MrBeast's newest video to see how he puts these in action.
Which means the only people here are us and our cameraman. At least that we know of.
In the first 30 seconds, we are literally drowning in curiosity and want to watch the rest. The thing is, he doesn't only apply it to his intro, he applies these tactics throughout the whole video.
Even though our first day in the city went pretty smooth, something eerie did happen to occur later that night. But not too far in, something strange happened.
You guys see someone?
What? But just as our night was going so well, for the 5th day in a row, we heard broken glass.
If you aren't good at storytelling, the best way to start is just to ask questions that spark curiosity throughout your video.
Like, I don't want to do this, and my brain and everything wants to quit. It's like a weird trick.
Sometimes we have to force ourselves to do the things we don't want to succeed on YouTube. Think about it. At the beginning stage of being a YouTuber, you have to do everything. Come up with the idea, make the thumbnail, write the script, record, and edit the video. There's obviously going to be something here that you don't fully like. Now let's say you started working on a video, but it feels hard finishing it.
You just invested all this time. If you quit now, it's for nothing. When I finally do finish, it feels so rewarding.
So the question is
it winning? Oh, yeah, you answered it. Yeah, exactly. I just like winning.
What is it for you? Money, fame, views? All these answers are acceptable, but you have to find it in order to continue pursuing the dream.
You want to test things while you're still growing to keep the growing from happening.
I always thought that if we see something work, we should just stick to it, but that's wrong.
You know, you're skyrocketing, right? You're up, and then you level off and you start to go down, and you're like, oh, this isn't working anymore. Let's start experimenting. Well, if you have a bad experiment, now you're in like a tailspin. You're nosediving.
You know, if you don't want to innovate and adapt, then you're not going to do as well in the long run.
Being a YouTuber means constantly changing and testing new stuff. If we don't adapt, we're probably not going to be successful on YouTube, especially not in the long term.
This is a long journey. You're not gonna get a channel my size overnight. You know, I've been doing this for almost 14 years now, and it's just like a daily grind of learning new things, compounding knowledge, growing over time. And what you want is you want to just consistently improve making better videos, and as long as your videos over time are getting better, it's very hard for more people not to watch them, and for the people who were watching before to keep watching, because it's not even just what they used to watch, it gets better. Yeah, I just highly advise you get really addicted to just improving your product, which for everyone here is videos, and just accept it's like, you know, ideally it's a 10-year journey, and then 10 years from now, you're probably gonna be making phenomenal content compared to where you are now.